Ah, welcome to my first podcast video. I'm your host, Patrick Corpuz. Today I will interview a very good friend of mine. Since high school, Vasili Karapanos. I've known him for 10 years now, and I have never been to his house. His family owns a vineyard in Lodi, so I'm about to go drive to his place right now, and I'm about to interview him right now. So I'm about to call Vasili and ask him for an interview, see what he says.
Hi, you have reached Vasili Karapanos. Please leave a message after the beep. Thank you.
He put me in voicemail.
Hello?
Hello. We've been trying to reach you about your extended grape warranty.
What? Who is this?
Sir, it is the Grape Authority. Sir, do you know that your grape's extended warranty has expired? Hey, what's up, Vasili? It's Patrick. Hey, I'm thinking about interviewing you about your farm. Hey, do you mind if I come over and interview you right now?
Interview? Hell no, bro. Yeah, just keep bro.
Oh, okay, you got me there. Hey, alright, I'll see you in a bit. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, bro.
Alright, man, bye. So, I'm here in Vasili Karapanos' house, and I'm here to interview him.
Hey, what are you doing here? It's property, sir. Patrick?
So, we're here today in Vasili Karapanos' house, and I'm about to...
Just he said it. Patrick?
Oh, hey, Vasili!
My name is Vasili Karapanos, and this is Panagakos Ranch. I'm gonna give you a tour.
So we're here today with Vasili Karapanos. Vasili, how are we doing today?
Oh, doing well. Beautiful morning.
What are we looking at right here, right now?
Right here, well, on our left, we have some lemon trees, but we're walking up towards the vineyards here. We've got some Cabernet grapes, and it's, what is it, April? It's springtime, so they're about to bloom. They're all green, and probably a couple weeks now here, we'll probably be disking, basically bringing the subsoil to the top. And yeah, right now we don't have much work to do. We just kind of admire them. But around August, September, they should be about ready to be harvested. And in between then, we usually fertilize, give a little fertilizer, and then a lot of watering. But we have our own well supply for water. And yeah, I mean, this is the process. You have some seasons where you're working a lot, and then some seasons where you're just kind of sitting around. And when these grapes, or rather the leaves, when they get bigger, we usually sulfur them, and that's usually to get the insects out.
My grandfather bought this land in '88, and I see a lot of neighbors out. It's a beautiful day to be out. But yeah, they bought this land in '88 for I think around $400,000, about 30 acres, and they planted the vineyards back here. These are about 40, almost 50 years old, if I'm doing the math correctly. It's a little early. And down there now it's an empty field. But we're going to be replanting them with cherry trees, and these will be taken out and replanted again because there's a certain yield that we would see decreasing over the decades, and so that tells you that the vineyard's getting old. Every year we'd have to pull out more trunks. The vineyard, I mean, the way these are placed is kind of like modern. The old style, the way vineyards are placed, are kind of like individual sectors. But these trunks, you can tell they get old, they die, and a machine usually comes in through here and shakes it. And so, especially when you disc, you don't want any trunks or anything like that in there. So you got to go in every year and clean out the dead wood And over the years, we've noticed more and more deadwood, so it's the yield has been decreasing. So it's a good time to pull it out, replant it. We don't know if we'll replant it again with Cabernet or maybe some other grape. It's kind of like playing the stock market, but you kind of have to plan what people would want to plant and drink for the next 10 years or so. I remember in the early 2000s, people were crazy about Merlot, and all these people were planting Merlot. And then a couple of years later, the price for Merlot just plummeted. All these vineyards, they just pulled them out because they weren't going to be making any money. So it's a bit of a gamble, unfortunately, for the individual farmer and his family. But for us, it's been pretty well. Cabernet has been steady, and it started off at around 1,200 a ton when we were able to grow it, and then it's been kind of decreasing, but staying at around $700, $800 a ton. So inflation, whatever. So yeah, just some plans for the future. We've amassed, I think we have 6 tractors now. They all have kind of like their separate function. One of them pulls like different kinds of discs. The other one kind of trims the sides, because when these grow bigger, they kind of, the branches branch out to the side and they intertwine with the 2 vines and lanes. But we have a trimmer that does that, and some specialized stuff. On that side, we have a row with 3 different kinds of grapes, and we just picked that for our own harvest. It's Sauvignon Blanc, Muscat, and Greek wine called Fileri. And they produce about 2 barrels each. And we keep that, and we make it for ourselves, and we just kind of give it as party favors and gifts, and we don't really sell it. All of this stuff is usually bought by a packaging company, Delta Packing down the street, and we have a contract with them. And yeah, that's how we make our money. But the expenses kind of, they're pretty up there. So yeah, but it's a good side, a little side money. Property taxes, though, unfortunately, too high for our taste out here. Everyone out here is complaining. But yeah, that's what out here in Lodi, most of us neighbors here do.
Technology.
So what are we doing right now, right here?
I'm gonna go look inside my neighbor's place. Just kidding. Just getting a bird's eye view. Right now, let's see, this guy's got a big, kind of an open hole in his cherry fields. I never knew that. Let's see, do we see any animals? Coyotes?
So yeah, some of the things my grandfather did was he built a well, a water pump over here. It doesn't work anymore, so he built the other one that's on the other vineyard parcel, but it sustains both parcels. And usually around these months, we haven't had, it wasn't that bad this year, but some other years where we've had significant rainfall, the fields get flooded, and there's really, I mean, you just kind of have to wait until the ground seeps it up. But sometimes if there's clay deep enough, then the water just kind of sits there, as I've seen with some of the neighbors. So my grandfather, along with the neighbor over here, because somehow it drains off. I'm not entirely sure as how geology works and all of this, but they dug out this ditch, and there's a pipe underground there that connects to it. And so I don't know how they figured this out, I think through satellites, but there's a low point somewhere. And they were able to manage to draw a drain and to go in there. It's not much, but over here the water seeps into the ground relatively fast. So that's one way we can drain the flooding much quicker. I remember I had to come out here one day and dig ditches, and it was, I think, around this time. And I almost fell in the mud, and it was fun times. My grandfather passed away in 2018, but we managed to keep what he taught us going. He taught us a lot in terms of how to care for the vineyards and tying up, training them, and pruning. And just many of the practices too. He put up solar panels years ago. We have all of our compost garbage goes either in the garden or in the fields. Usually grass clippings go in the vineyards, and then all of our food stuff goes in our gardens. And yeah.
Okay, we can talk about it. Can
Yeah.
you tell me about the pump that's right there?
Mhm.
That one doesn't work anymore, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but tell me about it when he first built it.
Yeah, he first built this in the 80s. And as a kid, I used to come out here just to play with lizards. Now it's a bit overgrown. But yeah, this pump used to just pump water from the well, or groundwater basically. I think it went down to 300 feet. And you know, groundwater is used by everybody, but you don't want to use more than what is replenished every year. I'm not sure if there is a cap for that, but we're in Central Valley, California. There's plenty of it for now. But yeah, this thing would power this back vineyard, and then it kind of it wasn't a good design, so we built the newer one on the other side, and that has enough power to water both fields. That's about 30 acres full of it. And yeah, the water gets pumped. It goes along one of the ends, and it shoots all the way down, and then the water just goes through these tubes. And then they drip, and it's a drip system basically. Some issues we have is with coyotes. They love going on there and chewing on them just to, I guess, get more water. But when we water, we always drive up and down the ends of the vineyards to make sure that we can see the water go completely, because if we don't, we know it's cut somewhere in the middle. And usually we have labs come and test closer to when the grapes are much bigger. And not yet, probably in a couple months, a lab comes out, they take samples, they see what the crop is lacking, and they'll make a specialized fertilizer that you can hook up basically to the water pump and have it feed into your fields, and that's how you can get it fertilized. One year we did have to crop dust it because before we built this ditch, it was flooded, and the water was taking forever to go away. We had to fertilize and spray, and yeah, we had to crop dust. Basically, you hire a crop duster here in Lodi, come out here, and they did the way that they do it, and yeah.
Yeah, I do see some. I think I saw a plane just flying overhead.
Actually, yeah, I did so earlier.
Yeah.
It was like really low.
Yeah, I think it's probably dusting some other farms right now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they do wheat fields, but yeah. I'll tell you about these grapes. These grapes are, like I said earlier, they were Cabernet. They're going to be pulled out because they're too old, and the whole property isn't, or the crop isn't yielding as enough as the expenses that we're putting into it. So the good thing too is that I can't remember if it's the government or the state of California, but they subsidize a good chunk of the replanting process. So it's it definitely helps out a lot. But this system is just kind of like a simple system. The trunk just grows and kind of branches out onto the vine. The front vineyard, when we had it at first, it was based off an Australian design, which the trunk would grow up here around the same height, and then just how like this is splitting, but instead of going along laterally like this. It goes out perpendicular and then it shoots up. But that system had an extra set of wirings and stands and posts to kind of keep it looked much prettier than these, but it was a lot more to maintain. Basically, it had lower wires that you would raise up, and it would kind of hug the vines and pull them up like this, and kind of like the football square thing that the field goal thing, yeah. But it made it easier for the picking process. But with that system, we're not able to harvest with machines. These, machine. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but big tall machine has, and it basically the vine goes in between the machine, and it basically just shakes the whole thing around, and then the grapes fall on this platform in the machine, and they get portrayed up, and then they get picked and separated. But that form of harvesting is pretty damaging. If you can sustain a vineyard like this for probably 100 years if you didn't use machining, but because the machining is kind of over time, over decades, it kind of destroys the wood, and because of the shaking. But I mean, it's you have so much. It's industrial, so.
Fully mechanized, yeah.
Fully mechanized, yeah.
Agriculture.
We don't have enough hands.
Yeah. What would you do differently if you were to farm this right now?
Differently? Let's see. It works for us. It's working well, pretty for us. It's just now, I mean, the vineyard's old, so we're through a process where we're replanting. But in terms of improvement, we're definitely open for improvement. It's just I'm not sure how we can further improve significantly, because this is basically most of the practices that many people do.
What's your favorite spot on this farm?
Favorite spot?
Yeah.
See, as a kid, I used to come out here to these eucalyptus trees and make teepees. But you know what? Actually, it's actually right over here underneath this tree. It's on the property, because it kind of looks out. But yeah, in terms of improvement, we could get better tractors, because they are breaking down constantly. They are old. In terms of the practices, though, I feel like we have done as much as we can in terms of improvements. Unless someone else comes up with a better idea, we wouldn't mind borrowing it.
Here, how much does this farm make a year, during a harvest season?
During a harvest, about 60 to 75,000, and then expenses are around 40, so profits around 30 to 40, depending on the year, because the prices for the grapes fluctuates depending on what the people are drinking these days, and also the cost with the harvest, and also buying the fertilizer and all the products that go into it, and the labor as well. So it's not it's definitely something good in the long run, because in the long run you're living on your property. Your work is basically your backyard. You wake up and there it is. It's good and bad. Different perspectives on that.
Can you explain me what these are right here?
Oh yeah, these are table grapes. So they're all different kinds. We have Italian, Tokay. We have all sorts of stuff. I keep losing track. There's a diagram of where my grandfather planted them. But these ones you can just pick and eat when they're ready. And I mean, usually we try and pick them before birds get them. But this spot, this corner of the property, usually I'm on the inside. I like a lot because these cypress trees, my grandfather planted this for his nephew who died from cancer many years ago, and then we planted this for my grandfather. And it's nice. I personally, around these times, before working or just relaxing, it's nice to walk around and even walk out here and just kind of it's nice and quiet. The cars are pretty far away. You barely hear them. You see rabbits. You see a whole bunch of stuff out, and it's quite peaceful. It's a lot of work though, but it's enjoyable, and it's definitely worth it. And I'm very grateful that my grandfather made that decision many years ago to move out here. He moved out here with friends, and his friends' families, they're pretty much our neighbors too. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a nice community. It's a nice way of life. Like I said, it's hard, but it's definitely worth it. It makes you feel proud of the work that you do. You toil with your hands and you reap what you sow. He learned it all here. He actually he moved to, well, first when he moved from Greece, he was in like San Francisco and Canada, and he was kind of in the cities working construction jobs. And he was in his 50s when he saw the opportunity to come out here. And when he came out here, he wanted to make wine, and he wasn't exactly sure how to, but he was a pretty charismatic guy, so he made friends easily, and all he had to do was just talk to people. Hey, how do you do this? Hey, what's going on with that? Hey, I saw this happen. I mean, what do you think? And you just ask questions, and that's how you learn. Same thing with the wine. It's the process is a little tedious sometimes. Even us, without my grandfather, we've had one batch where it came out a bit vinegary, like vinegar. But we learned from that, and we ask our friends, and yeah, basically, it's you just kind of, as you see it, you kind of do it. Now, obviously, there's classes like at UC Davis for viticulture and all of that stuff, but I think for more of a mass production, wineries kind of stuff.
That's why they're called Aggies.
Aggies, yeah.
Yeah. That's walking with the thing. He wasn't driving the tractor.
Oh no, yeah, my dad was driving the tractor. His employee wanted to work today, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just doing farm work." And I was like, "Okay, come over." I think I'm about to deal, because we have Easter tomorrow, so we got people coming over, and I gotta mow the lawn and kind of make things look pretty. Oh yes.
Barn.
Yes, this barn houses the most of our equipment. The smaller one has most of the tractors in it. On the side here, that's a cutter. Yeah, that's not a disc. That's a sulfur tank. There's a fan in the back, and you put either wettable or dry sulfur in there, depending on the usage for it. And you go through it, and it just kind of makes a cloud of sulfur. It's kind of annoying though, because you got to do this when it's cool. So usually you do this at like 3 in the morning, and you'll wake up and you hear a woo, woo, because he's turning it on and off as he's going through the rows. So it's you wake up maybe not by the rooster, but by the the machinery.
Probably smells too, because it's sulfur.
Yeah. Well, thankfully I don't smell it, but yeah. But we also we have diesel for the tractors. That's one good thing. I get it non-taxable, so it's you just pay diesel, no tax.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but yeah, this is where we had the our front vineyard with that Australian way of wiring that we had our vineyards basically trained, but it got diseased. There was a disease going around across Lodi. Many vineyards got affected, and it spread to ours, and it's like, well, it was pretty much as old as the back one right there, and we kind of had to pull it out. But like I said, thankfully the government helps us with replanting. It is a huge process, actually. I never knew how much it took just to pull it all out.
Kind of crippled your farm a little bit, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, it's almost as much as, not as much, half a house basically. Yeah, how much houses are worth nowadays? But no, it's a big chunk of change. And I mean, for us individually, you know, who don't have wineries and big budgets like that, it could be crippling. Yeah, I've seen neighbors around here who have pulled out their vineyards and they just haven't replanted. I'm not sure what that is for. Maybe it's just keep it fallow for a few years.
Retain all those nutrients, huh?
Mm-hmm. We do have neighbors too that they grow wheat and then they bring sheep and then we had a guy across over there has cherries, and then a guy comes in brings in bees. So it's it's like a community here, you know. He comes by, he drops them off usually by the cherries, and then he brings them off to, I believe he set them over there, and then they kind of spread out. And I feel like we had something else. You know, sometimes really strong smell of manure, you know.
Can you explain what your dad is doing over there?
My dad, all he's doing right now, I think he's he's disking, but he just wants to get rid of the grown grasses since it rained. Yeah, he's just mowing it, basically. I'm gonna see if there's one out here. But yeah, the disc basically is it's just something that tractor drags, and it's got like basically like a dish, you know, and it's got multiples, and it presses into the ground and it spins and it just brings the subsoil to the top, and then I kind of fertilizes it, and that's how you get more natural fertilizer in it, and it helps with the growing process. Helps a lot too with your garden, anything really. But yeah, but no, for this though, he just wants to mow the lawn. But yeah, there were 28 rows here of more Cabernet grapes, and unfortunately these were of a clone that had branches basically like leaves, like this basically sticking out on its trunk, but more so on the bottom. And we made like we found a golf cart that we just sawed it all up and kind of found a frame and kind of put 4 batteries in it. Well, it had space for it, but we makeshifted something to be low to the ground, so we could go and basically clear off the trunks from the branches, and that was just another added piece of work, but it just happened to be with the clone of grape that we had. I'm not sure if there was a decision for that or if it was just they didn't know about it, but yeah. Now we don't have to deal with that. But hopefully the next thing we get is probably doesn't have that issue. It's definitely not easy to get into. I don't know how much land is, how much it costs, but it's definitely worth it. I believe so, because this will last you for generations. Your grandchildren will be here, your great-grandchildren hopefully, and beyond that. And I think it's something definitely worth striving for. And I encourage everybody, not just to have 2 parcels of land, but grow a garden. Nothing better than your own homegrown vegetables and fruit. It's definitely more worth it. But yeah, that's the disc right there. If you want to show a little bit of that. Yeah. And yeah, basically he's lifting it up, and then it's all hydraulically powered. And then that roller in the back just kind of smooths out the dirt.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fun interview. Big shout out to Vasili and his family for inviting me to their farm. I actually learned a lot about their farming habits, their sustainability methods, and quite honestly, I might implement them on my own garden. And again, big shout out to Vasili. I know we're just joking around there for a second, especially that phone call that I had earlier. Anyways, my name is Patrick. I've been your host. Peace out. Oh, by the way, I'm not Swedish, nor Icelandic.